Today I'm going to showcase my custom built Stratocaster, quote unquote Strat, that I built out of different parts from the internet. So right off the bat, you can see the artwork. It's a tiger stripe with the little colors. I try to replicate, like, you know, influences from Yngwie Malmsteen, hence the 70s headstock, the black pick car like Eddie Van Halen, and the tiger stripe from, you know, George Lynch, you know. But here's the thing, it's one of my first projects, and oh boy, like, this guitar is definitely not perfect. There's a lot of problems with it now. But first, I'll tell you guys about the parts real quick. The body and the pre-wired pick guard with the pickups were from Amazon. Actually, everything else, from the whammy bar to the tuners and the rolling nut, that all came from Amazon. So I think it was the body cost me about $50 to $70. I think I forgot. The pre-wire pick guard was around $100, you know. And the neck came from Etsy, and that was $170. So, and I'll talk about that a little later, because I thought I was getting a really good deal, like really good quality neck, but there's a huge problem with this guitar. So before I get to that, I'll tell a little bit about the body and the pickup. So this body, I don't know what wood is made out of. I think Carina, I'm not sure, but it's soft wood. And it's like a 3-piece or whatever, you know. And this kind of looks like flamed, like that. It's weird. Like, I don't know, when you buy a cheap piece of, you know, like, you know, gear, or like, you know, part of a guitar, like, there's always going to be some weird things with it. But anyway, so the pickups, they sound great. This is a 3-way selector switch, and that little switch is to make it a single coil. You know, you could switch between humbucker to single coil. And yeah, and here's the thing that probably people notice right away, that wrench. So I'm going to talk about that right now. I had to raise the action like crazy on this guitar. Reason being because when I assembled this guitar, I had so much fret buzz, like crazy. And I'm like, shoot, let me adjust the truss rod, right? And like, holy hell, it just wouldn't budge you. So the thing about guitars is that you always need a slight backwards bend on the neck, you know, a little bit of slack, so you don't get any fret buzz. And you could have your strings ringing out, so you could have the, you know, the action on a reasonable height. But the thing is that I thought something was wrong with this guitar. I don't know, maybe it still is, but the neck just wouldn't, like, nothing's changing on it. Like, no matter how much I try to adjust the truss rod on this thing, it wouldn't move. And I basically turned it as much as I could. I thought I was going to break something because it just wouldn't go any further, you know? And I had to raise the action so high. That's why I put the wrench over there. No matter what I did, it just wouldn't, the neck just wouldn't budge, you know? So I had to shave down the frets. And they're a bit like some of the ones in the middle, like I had to get a huge sanding block, and they're like, so the frets in the middle, they're so obvious. They're like flat. And the ones down here are like, nah, that's how they're supposed to look. But the ones in the middle are just shaved so flat down. It's just ridiculous. And still I'm getting fret buzz down here. I'm getting so much fret buzz. And the high E string on the first fret, it's dead. It doesn't even ring out that note. Yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to do a little bit of playing, just a little bit of you know, a little sound. So this sounds good. You know, it stays in tune if you don't use the whammy bar. So basically, that's just something I'm gonna miss out on, because this just does not stay in tune. But it sounds good, and it's really comfortable to play, and it looks really cool. And it's one of my guitars that I built. Oh yeah, did I mention the neck? Yeah. The neck I got from Etsy, and it cost me like $170. So I thought I was getting a good deal. I thought I was getting, like, you know, a good quality, you know, neck for the price. But the fret buzz and the truss rod is just, yeah, that's just a big mess. But it looks really good. So yeah, I'm gonna do some playing. All right, guys.